Hello, welcome to the 2021 NYLA Council Candidates Q&A session. Today we'll be speaking with Rebecca Budinger-Mulhearn from Avon Free Library, who is running for Councilor-at-Large representing a public library. Before we begin, please note that the session was pre-recorded for your convenience, and we encourage you to watch all of the candidates' Q&As to get to know each of our candidates. The 2021 NYLA Council election will open voting starting June 15th and will close on July 15th. NYLA will send details on how to vote via email. Also, please note that your vote is anonymous and you'll be only able to submit your ballot once. In order to vote, you must be an active NYLA member. If you have any questions about how to vote in this election, please contact myself at marketing@nyla.org. Finally, full bios of our candidates and the full recording of each Q&A session was made available using the link found on the slide at the end of this recording. So without further ado, let's begin our Q&A session with Rebecca. Hi, Rebecca, how are you doing?
Hi, Christina, I'm great. Thanks for hosting this.
Yeah, of course. So one of our first questions is just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Well, I've been in libraries for about 7.5 years now. This is a second career for me. Before that, I was still in books. I have a love of books and reading and literacy, but I was about 17 years with Barnes & Noble as a community relations manager. Happens to be where I met my husband, who's still a Barnes & Noble store manager. So we keep books in the family, books and also resources, of course. But yeah, and I have a daughter who just graduated college this weekend.
Oh,
and
nice.
lots of cats.
Yes. Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
One of our first questions is, what do you see as NYLA's most important responsibility to New York's library community?
I see leading and guiding advocacy at the state, local, and even national level as one of NYLA's most important responsibilities. Advocacy is key to sustainable funding and supportive laws, without which we can't serve our communities.
Yeah.
And I actually really enjoy advocacy. So if given the opportunity, I would look forward to doing that. I mean, I already do it at the local level. I have joined NYLA before, of course, in Albany, but I've even gone with members of NYLA to participate in the National Advocacy Days in Washington. And I think it's really important, it's exciting, and it's where sort of the rubber meets the road of getting us what we really need to help our communities.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
So what do you feel is our biggest challenge as we move into the post-pandemic world?
Well, I think it's staying connected, and that means equal access for everybody. The pandemic really laid bare the inadequacies of our broadband networks, the reliable connectivity across the state in rural, suburban, and even urban situations and communities. And it's really shown us that connectivity is a vital part of being alive today in the world in which we live. And libraries are a perfect organization to really fight for that.
Yeah, no, definitely. So how do you see libraries moving forward or staying vital in the next decade and beyond?
It's always that question, right? Well, who needs libraries? Because there's Google, or now there's Netflix, or whatever the new thing is. And I really challenge that notion. Libraries are the heart of the community, and we will always continue to be vital and impactful by connecting people with the resources, and especially with each other. Technologies will continue to evolve, libraries will adapt them, but we will always be the power of the person-to-person connection and relationship that libraries can most strongly espouse. Yeah. You know, we are here for the people who come to us every day, even if it's just to check their email, but it's a lot of times to have conversations with us, because in so many communities across the state and across the country, the library is that community center. And the resources we provide are important, but in some ways they're secondary to that human touch. And I think that means that libraries will be key continuing.
I completely agree. Thank
Yay.
you. So what do you see as a priority for NYLA in the next year? With keeping this all in mind.
Sure. So it's kind of a recap of the previous questions, but really it's advocating for adequate and sustainable funding and supportive legislation that helps us provide broadband to everybody, and allows people to be connected to their libraries and to each other, even in their own homes, and to their schoolwork or their work. People have the right to be connected.
Yeah, definitely. And then finally, turning it back mostly just to you, what skill sets will you bring to this position?
Well, mine is an unusual path to directorship. I have, with my 17 years of customer service and community relations, I know a lot about building relationships and talking with people and sharing the value of that which you represent. And I think that's why I enjoy advocacy so much, why I really enjoy meeting with people in my community. But also I believe that I represent so many workers in the library community. I do not have an MLS at this point. I do have the certificate of public library administration, and I work toward it, but I see the value that every library worker brings to the table. And I also represent a rural library in a rural county, but at the same time, we're sort of a bedroom community of Rochester, so there are some city connections. And I have been president of the Rural Library Roundtable, so I speak to the needs of rural libraries.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me about this position, and also for running. Like, we have such an amazing slate of candidates here,
Yeah,
especially you and everyone else.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah, I'm really honored to be in the group with some of the people who are running, and those who I don't know yet. I'm sure I'm honored to be with you too, but I look forward to meeting people through this process too.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Rebecca. All right, have a nice day.
Thanks, you too.
Bye.
Bye.